Get $3 off every order at PlayAsia by using the code Censored.
If you're watching this, then the odds are that you are of the belief that video games do not cause real life violence, and you're definitely not alone. A survey posted in a new Psychiatric Times paper indicates that there is absolutely no consensus between scholars about whether this supposed link exists. The chart shows the results of multiple questions. To the utmost left is a simple question on climate change, which has been used as a basis for what true consensus should look like. As you can see, over 99% of scholars agreed with this statement. However, in regards to the rest, the respondents were asked questions such as, agree there is a causal relationship between violent media and aggression, and agree violence in the media is a major factor in real life violence, yet the results were completely different. Also important to keep in mind here is the loose definition of the word aggression in comparison to the more specific real life violence, which could have been a factor in the higher percentage. The paper in general heavily criticises large amounts of research that has been carried out in this field. The author, Dr Christopher Ferguson, claims that things such as citation bias has skewed results. In other words, researchers picking and choosing only the studies that support their theories and ignoring the rest. Outdated assumptions, the lack of standardization, as well as bias from publications themselves are also criticised, and Ferguson makes it clear that many studies undertaken in the past can't be trusted, although they then go on to explain that these problems seem to be slowly improving. For example, they reference an innovation borrowed from medical science called pre-registered studies. This is where researchers pick their methods and analysis prior to collecting data, which in turn prevents any bias later down the line, with manipulating the methods and analysis to only get the results that they want. In fact, Ferguson also points out that all studies done so far using these new methods have not supported previous conclusions of there being a link between virtual and real life violence. There's also a reference to a comparison that's been made between violent video game sales and youth violence rates. As you can see, youth violence has actually drastically dropped over the years, whilst violent media sales have sharply risen. There's a few more points that are made, and if you want to go read up on it yourself, then please make sure to go check out the link in the description. But in summary, the author makes a convincing case to not trust misleading research of the past, and indicates that modern research fails to see any link between the two. Censored Gaming will be sure to keep an eye out for all new studies done in this area, and will keep you up to date whenever something pops up. Until next time, thank you for watching.